The drama showcases the contrasting personalities of a strong and confident gangster and a skinny, gloomy, and underconfident kid who is often bullied by his classmates. See how fate will bring them together, allowing the gangster to fulfill his dream of being a school kid and take revenge against bullying. The drama starts with a gangster named Kim Deokpal, a middle-aged gangster trying to pass the CSAT. Despite being a gangster, he has a huge interest in reading and writing. He doesn't have an educational background due to his poor parents, but he dreams of attending a university. Deokpal has been studying to achieve his dream, but it's not easy. So he hires a tutor who eventually becomes fed up with his slow progress and starts scolding him, unaware that he is the second in command of a most dangerous Chilsung gang. Although Deokpal might appear rude and cruel, he has a golden heart and respects his teacher immensely. Suddenly, the door opens and Jong Cheol, one of Deokpal's subordinates, rushes in with an urgent matter. Deokpal's teacher is shocked upon discovering his true identity. Realizing he had scolded a gangster, Deokpal's gang members have brought in a man who had betrayed them. The man manages to escape their grasp and holds a knife to the teacher's neck. Despite the tension, Deokpal remains calm and prepares for a fight. When the man attacks with a knife, Deokpal grabs it effortlessly, as if it were a piece of paper, and punches the man unconscious with a single stroke, causing his tutor to collapse from shock. The scene transitions to a hospital where Deokpal's tutor is admitted. While there, Deokpal notices a group of girls wearing matching outfits, which piques his curiosity. Struggling to pass English, Deokpal receives help from his subordinate, but it ends up being a joke. Deokpal then heads to a business meeting with the chairman to discuss ongoing business matters. The conversation turns to his educational struggles and the chairman suggests him to give up, saying he's too old for this pursuit. After the conversation, Deokpal is left in a dilemma and goes for a drive alone. On his drive, he sees a young man named Song Yi-han about to commit suicide from a pedestrian overpass. Deokpal rushes to stop him, but the kid jumps and lands on Deokpal. In a twist of fate, the gangster dies in the crash and for some unknown reason, wakes up in the younger man's body. At the hospital, Deokpal hears the voices of his loyal subordinates arguing with the nurses at the door. Smiling at their loyalty, he steps out only to be shocked as Kim Dong-soo punches him and grabs him, threatening him. Struggling to breathe, Deokpal catches a glimpse of himself in a mirror and realizes he sees the same guy he saved earlier. Confused about what's happening, he tries hard to convince them that he is their boss. They drag him to a funeral where he sees his own name and picture. His family-like subordinates are furious with the boy they believe to be ungrateful, blaming him for the loss of their guardian-like boss. They demand he apologize and thank their late boss, unaware that Deokpal's soul has been exchanged with that of the poor kid, leaving his soul trapped in the boy's body. In frustration, Deokpal starts scattering objects, desperately trying to convince them of his true identity, but no one believes him. Jong Kyo, losing his temper, begins to choke him. He has to stop because their leader tells them to leave the boy. Frustrated, Deokpal storms out of the room. Declaring, "I will return alive," he heads to the body and is shocked to see himself dead. He asks the funeral guy how they can return his soul to his body. He tries everything possible to re-enter his dead body but is mistaken for Deokpal's son mourning over her father's sudden demise. In desperation, he rushes back to the same place and attempts suicide, hoping to return to his own body before the funeral, but instead he jumps into the hood of a bus. Deokpal is taken to the hospital again. When he regains consciousness, he asks the nurse for a mirror to see if his plan worked. Sadly, he is still in Song Yi-han's body and has fractured his leg. He tries to go back to the funeral site, but the funeral had already taken place 3 days before. Later in the evening, Deokpal went to the memorial and was upset to see his family-like subordinates mourning. He was also concerned about the whereabouts of Song Yi-han's soul. He was worried about whether the boy had any family since no one had visited him. Deokpal was taken aback when a woman suddenly burst into his room. He assumed she might be Yi-han's mother, but she started scolding him for causing trouble for her. Deokpal was shocked at how she treated the boy. She left his belongings and walked out. To learn more about the boy, Deokpal opened Yi-han's tablet, where he found a journal detailing the bullying Yi-han faced at school. Yi-han began with, "I want to quit and disappear forever." The first bully had ordered him to steal alcohol and jewelry from home. Yi-han complied, but the bullying only escalated. He wanted to be friends with a classmate named Choi Sik-young, but when the bully, Hong Jae-ming, noticed, he labeled Yi-han a stalker. Other students also started to look down on him and called him a stalker. He had no friends and became invisible to his classmates. During break time, bullies used him as a target for arrows, treating him like an object to use and discard as they pleased. After reading Yi-han's story, Deokpal was enraged and broke the tablet. In his entire life, he had never seen such injustice. He promised Yi-han that he would go to school to destroy his bullies so that when Yi-han's soul returned to his body, he could live a peaceful life. The next morning, Deokpal goes to Yi-han's house, which seems very luxurious and fancy. He meets a lady whom he initially assumes to be the boy's mother, but based on her attire, he concludes she is a maid. When she asks if he has informed the secretary that he got discharged, he gets a little confused about why he needs to report to that lady about his whereabouts. The maid suggests he should not go against the secretary, as she will come after his mother and him. He then learns that he has a mother who is resting on the couch. When he goes for lunch, the maid gives him the portion Yae-hae used to eat. However, Deokpal, now stuck in Yae-hae's body, wants more nutritious food to turn Yae-hae's weak body into a strong one. The maid seems shocked by his changes and informs him about his mother's condition, explaining that she is becoming increasingly addicted to alcohol. She also mentions that after his accident, the secretary brought a lot of alcohol to the house to worsen his mother's addiction. Deokpal realizes that if Yi-hyun's mother passes away, Yi-hyun will become the legal heir to OK Construction Company, the third largest company in South Korea. Deokpal understands that the secretary wants to take control of the company by manipulating Yi-hyun and his mother. Deokpal got everything that once belonged to Yi-hyun: a luxurious house, a car, and an unlimited credit card. However, he didn't like Yi-hyun's hairstyle, so he went to a salon where he initially wanted to go bald. The hairdresser suggested a crew cut instead, so his friends wouldn't outcast him. As Deokpal aimed to make many friends for Yi-hyun, he opted for the crew cut. He also bought new clothes for school and acquired a variety of trendy outfits, striving to dress like a typical kid of today's generation. He worked hard to fit in with today's youth and thoroughly enjoyed his new life as a kid. Excited for the opportunity to fulfill his dream of attending high school, Deokpal eagerly awaited new books and school supplies. Confused by the books, he sought help from a random boy, Choi Sik-young, unaware that Sik-young was the same person Yi-hyun wanted to befriend. Meanwhile, Sik-young was puzzled by this transformed version of Yi-hyun, which made him confused if he is the same person he knows or stranger, noticing his completely altered behavior and personality, talking and walking style. On top of that, Deokpal even referred to himself as a kid, which seemed odd considering they were the same age. Deokpal returned home to find his subordinates managing his belongings. As he recovered, he removed the plaster from his leg, started going to the gym, jogging, and maintaining good nutrition to keep the body healthy and strong. The most awaited day finally arrived, his first day of school. He got ready like a Prince Charming and went to school in his luxurious car. He was so excited that he accidentally wrote Kim Deokpal instead of Song Yi-hyun when he was dropped off at the school gate. Deokpal, being always respectful towards teachers, greeted his PT teacher very respectfully, impressing him so much that he let Deokpal enter even though he wasn't wearing his name tag. When he entered his classroom, he was treated as a new student, although there was a sense of familiarity among them. He randomly chose a seat and all the girls were gossiping about his handsome appearance. During attendance, they all realized he was the same stalker guy, but with his remarkable transformation, everyone was shocked, especially Choi Sik-young and the bully group. As soon as the teacher left, the bullies ganged up on him as they always did, but this time the response they received was unexpected. He laughed in an unusual manner which only seemed to annoy them further. The main bully, Hong Jae-min, hit him in the face, but his attitude remained unwavering. When another guy attempted to attack him, a single slap was enough to show he wasn't the same person they used to bully. Another strong guy tried to attack him, but in the midst of the fight, he realized he wasn't in his own body, and the weight of the other guy slammed him to the ground. The fat guy took control of the situation, and Jaemin asked him to plead them for mercy, as Yi-hyun always did before. Unbeknownst to them, Deokpal was the second in command of one of the most dangerous gangs. However, a sudden kick from Jaemin rendered him unconscious. In his dream, Deokpal encounters Yi-hyun, who advises him not to undertake such actions on his behalf, as he will die as soon as Deokpal's spirit leaves his body. Annoyed by Yi-hyun's statement, Deokpal insists that he is doing everything for him. However, Yi-hyun maintains his claim and expresses doubt that anything will change. Despite Deokpal's reassurances and promises to take care of the bullies and protect his mother, Yi-hyun remains skeptical. As Deokpal offers comfort and trust, Yi-hyun's soul disappears and Deokpal wakes up from the dream. Upon waking, he finds Sik-young extending a helping hand, but he refuses. Sik-young suggests he go to the nurse's office, but Deokpal declines, adamant about his gangster identity. Sik-young points out that if he goes to class bleeding like this, everyone will ignore him. Realizing the importance of making friends for Yi-hyun, Deokpal agrees to go to the nurse's office. However, upon arrival, they discover the nurse is absent, prompting Sik-young to step in and administer medical treatment. In the process, Deokpal brings up the time of his military service where small wounds were neglected. Sik-young becomes more confused because they still didn't reach the age of military service. Deokpal covers it up as a joke. Sik-young continues to express his disbelief at Yi-hyun's sudden change in behavior, voice, body language, and the fact that he never used to smile like this. Somehow, Sik-young knew Yi-hyun wanted him as a friend, so he would never ignore Sik-young. As Sik-young bombarded him with questions, he told Deokpal that they were friends before the accident. Deukpal checks his name tag and scolds Yehan for not mentioning this in his iPad. Deukpal tries to cover things up with talk of the accident and memory loss, and he extends a hand of friendship, but Seokyoung rejects it, claiming they were never friends and was just acting to see his reaction. This shocks Deukpal. Seokyoung reveals that Deukpal had come to his home and blackmailed him just before he jumped. This piques Deukpal's curiosity about the blackmailing, leading him to see Seokyoung as mysterious but dangerous. Seokyoung continues questioning him, doubting if he is the real Yehan because everything about him has changed after the accident: his hairstyle, personality, smile, gaze, and mainly his confidence. Deukpal answers that people change when big events occur and tells Seokyoung that he will understand when he reaches his age, which makes the Seokyoung suspicious because they are the same age. Seokyoung starts to think of him as a twin or doppelganger of Yehyun. The scene shifts to the bully gang discussing Yehyun's sudden change. They speculate that his replies and developing muscles and fighting skills must be the result of self-defense classes during the semester break. Both Seokyoung and Deukpal go to class, where the teacher has already arranged the seats. Deukpal feels a bit panicked by the activities his benchmate is doing. He checks the girls at the front desk who are busy using stickers and highlighters, which is new to him as he only has a pen and pencil. One of the girls mentions needing to go to the stationery store after school. Deukpal takes the chance to ask if he can join them. Kim Yeonji shows interest and agrees while her friend seems hesitant. After school, Deukpal decides to treat them to dinner in his fancy car. Initially hesitant, they eventually hop into the car and enjoy the ride. At the restaurant, they are free to choose any dish they desire. Deukpal excuses himself and discreetly pays the bill with his unlimited credit card. The next day at school, he shows off all the items he bought the previous day and slowly makes friends with his lame jokes. The girls enjoy his company as he is very open and brings a unique style to make them laugh. They check his planner where he has written about the schedule of his daily routine, where his major subjects and university goals were uncertain. Kim Yeonji warns him that he hasn't fulfilled as time, and Seokyoung interrupts, asking Deukpal the full form of as time. He gets into trouble with this question, but one of the girls indirectly helps him by saying it stands for actual studying time, something every student knows about. The girls are impressed by his mature and cool behavior, especially after he bought them dinner and offered his car to take them home for safety. Thus, Seokyoung's suspicion grows even stronger after that incident. During PT time, Deukpal gives an outstanding performance, impressing the girls and shocking both the bullies and Seokyoung. On his way back to class, he spots Yehan's father's secretary heading to the teacher's room. Sensing something amiss, he follows her and confronts her, dragging her out. She mentions her plan to send him to an abroad boarding school, which angers him. He shows her place as secretary and warns her not to try to be his guardian. When she slaps him and claims she raised him, Deukpal's anger intensifies. Deukpal exposes her real plan to replace his mother, threatening her by asserting that he is the son of the chairman and she must seek his permission before making any decisions like transferring schools. To emphasize his point, he steps on her glasses, further intimidating her. Frustrated, the secretary gets into her car, planning to teach Yehan a lesson. During self-study time in class, Seokyoung sits at Deukpal's place. Annoyed, Deukpal asks him to move, but Seokyoung mentions it was planned by the teacher. Deukpal has no choice but to sit with him. As Deukpal struggles with a math problem, Seokyoung offers help and tells him to ask if he has any questions. Later, Deukpal goes to the teacher's office. The teacher suggests he must start thinking about his major and university goals after high school. Deukpal asks for some time to consider and goes home. He was still in a dilemma about his future. To avoid the stress, he focuses on studying for the upcoming mock test. Realizing how difficult the questions are, he asks Seokyoung for help, who assists him with math problems. That night, as Seokyoung is about to sleep, he recalls the incident where Yehan blackmailed him, revealing his true nature, which makes him anxious. Meanwhile, Deukpal signs up for boxing, training himself to deal with the bullies. Afterward, he goes to a hot bath, where he encounters two gangsters who happen to be his gang members. Their bad manners at the hot bath prompt Deukpal to call them out. Annoyed, one of them tries to teach him a lesson, but Deukpal grabs his weak spot, warning them to follow public protocols and revealing his identity as the second in command of the gang. He hands them some cash before walking out. As he leaves, Jong Chol arrives with the bully gang who want to join the gang. The bully leader, Jae-min, notices the Yehan's image from the backside. The gangsters then ask Jong Chol if their boss, Deukpal, has a secret son, only to be scolded by Jong Chol, who insists their boss has never been involved with women. At home, Deukpal sees Seokyoung waiting for him. When his mother's condition worsens, he asks Seokyoung to go to his room upstairs. Seokyoung starts investigating the room, hoping to find something that might answer his questions. Suddenly, Deukpal appears, scaring him. Annoyed by Seokyoung's persistent questions about Yehan's whereabouts, Deukpal grabs his collar and threatens him, saying he doesn't remember the night he jumped and doesn't recall what he said to Seokyoung that night. He accuses Seokyoung of being the reason behind Yehan's jump from the bridge. Their conversation is interrupted by Yehan's mother's voice from the hallway. They rush to find her asking for more alcohol. Duke Pal, determined to help his mother become alcohol-free, stops the import of alcohol into the house. In response, Yae-han's mother slaps him, blaming him for her ruined career and expressing regret for having him. Duke Pal starts to understand the difficult path Yae-han was going through. Back in his room, Duke Pal finds Si-kyung still searching for evidence. Si-kyung takes some of Yae-han's mother's hair and Duke Pal's hair, which is actually Yae-han's hair, for a DNA test. Duke Pal, seeking to diffuse the tension, suggests they get some fresh air. They go to a library, which seems unusual for their age. Si-kyung asks why they don't go to a karaoke or other typical teenage hangouts. Duke Pal then takes him to a music theater, where they spend a peaceful time. On their way back, Si-kyung once again inquires about Yae-han's whereabouts, now showing genuine concern for his sudden disappearance. Duke Pal suggests testing the DNA of his and Yae-han's mother's hair samples for proof. He warns Si-kyung not to mess with him, explaining that he has many responsibilities to handle. This encounter leaves Si-kyung both puzzled and curious, deepening the mystery surrounding Yae-han's drastic change and disappearance. While returning home, Si-kyung becomes anxious as his curfew time has passed and nervously bites his nails. Upon entering, he finds his father waiting for him. His father scolds him for lying about his location, revealing that he knows where Si-kyung was due to a tracking app he installed on his phone. He warns Si-kyung not to lie again, emphasizing the importance of honesty as the son of a prosecutor. Si-kyung goes to his room, recalling the trauma of past punishments from his father. At school, the bullies confront Duke Pal again, blocking his way. To remind him of his supposed real self, they show a video of them bullying Yae-han, throwing milk on him and causing trouble in class. After seeing the videos and photos, Duke Pal breaks the phone in two and throws it away. With the demeanor of a middle-aged man, he starts lecturing the bullies, which feels odd to them, and then challenges them to a fight. They head to their favorite corner for fights. Duke Pal allows them to hit first, considering them still kids in his eyes. In a fit of anger, Jaemin grabs Duke Pal's collar, but Duke Pal retaliates with a strong headbutt. And Jaemin's friends try to intervene. Jaemin tells them not to, and then throws a powerful punch at Duke Pal. They think Duke Pal has been put in his place, but his reaction surprises them. Duke Pal removes his jacket and prepares for the fight. He skillfully fights the bullies, showering them with punches and using effective fighting techniques, eventually knocking them to the ground. When the fat bully attacks, Duke Pal easily throws him down. As Jaemin gets up to attack again, Duke Pal tells him that this fight is the only way to bring justice to Yae-han. Frustrated, Jaemin attacks, but Duke Pal's single deadly punch knocks him out. Duke Pal grabs Jaemin by the hair. When Jaemin asks if he is a gangster, Duke Pal reveals that he is the second in command of a gang. This revelation shocks the bullies, setting the stage for more drama to come. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes.